The old farmer, Silas, sat on his porch, the sun warming his weathered face. His hands, once strong and capable of coaxing life from the earth, now lay idle in his lap. His son, Jed, a man hardened by years of toil, watched him from the fields. A furrow creased Jed's brow. The sight of his father's inactivity gnawed at him. Each day, the rhythmic swing of Jed's hoe was punctuated by the silent judgment of his gaze towards the porch. Silas was a burden, a weight on the farm that yielded no return, Jed thought. The crops needed tending, the animals needed feeding, and Silas, in his stillness, seemed to represent only the passage of time, the relentless march towards age and uselessness. The resentment grew until it became a festering wound. One sweltering afternoon, the heat mirroring the fire in Jed's heart, he made his decision. He built a coffin, a crude, hastily made thing of rough-hewn wood. He dragged it to the porch, the wood scraping against the worn floorboards, a sound that echoed the grating of his own conscience. Silas, seeing the coffin, didn't flinch. He simply climbed inside, his movements slow but deliberate, a quiet acceptance in his eyes. Jed slammed the lid shut, the sound sharp and final. He began to drag the coffin towards the cliff's edge, the weight of it, a physical manifestation of the burden he carried in his heart. As he neared the precipice, a soft tapping came from within. Jed hesitated, his hand hovering over the lid. He opened it. Silas, his face serene, looked up at his son. "I know what you intend," Silas said, his voice surprisingly strong. "But before you cast me into the abyss, I have a request." Jed, momentarily disarmed, replied, "What is it?" Silas smiled, a faint, almost mischievous glint in his eyes. "Throw me over the cliff if you must," he said. "But please, save this good wood. Your children may need it one day." The words hung in the air, heavy, with unspoken meaning. Jed stared at his father. The coffin, the vast expanse of the cliff. The resentment that had consumed him began to crumble, replaced by a chilling premonition. He understood the cycle of life, the inevitable exchange of roles, the weight of time and responsibility. He carried the coffin back to the porch, the weight of it now feeling different, heavier with the burden of his own mortality. Silas, still sitting on the porch, watched him go, a quiet understanding passing between father and son, a silent acknowledgement of the inescapable truth.